Hey guys, it's me, Rich. Now, by now, you've obviously heard about the radical lefty lunatics who stormed a church in Minneapolis during religious services on Sunday. But in this video, I'm going to debunk things a so-called journalist who sided with protesters as they stormed the church during worship. You and your rights are supposed to be protected under the Constitution, yet here we are watching it get twisted in real time. This video exposes what really happened when Don Lemon followed activists into a Minneapolis church and then pretended that he was just reporting. But what you'll soon find out is that this was never about journalism at all. It was about ideology, arrogance, and a shocking misunderstanding of basic constitutional law on Don Lemon's part. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back to RPW Media, where we clean up the lies and fabrications of the left. Look, if you like our videos and you haven't done so already, you should become a subscriber to the channel. You can hit that notification bell and smack the like button because it helps us get our message out to a lot more people. Also, we do live streams every Friday night at 6 o'clock Eastern. Check us out. All right, so here's Don Lemon. He arrives in Minneapolis, and right away he gives the game away. Give it a watch.
Hey everybody, welcome to the program. We just got into Minneapolis a little bit ago and did some reconnaissance on the ground. I'm speaking to an organization there that's gearing up for resistance and protest.
Now, do you get it? He admits that he knows the group behind him is there to protest.
I've been pleasantly surprised to see the community coming together.
So in other words, he's saying he's pleasantly surprised that the resistance protesters got together. So he's not there just to report. He's pleasantly surprised that there's going to be a protest at the church. And here's the part that nobody wants to talk about, because once you hear it, the narrative collapses. By praising a group that is about to barge into a church uninvited during worship, Lemon openly sided with people violating the First Amendment right to freedom of religion. Now, this is what the fake news people still cannot grasp. You do not get to use one amendment right to crush another just because you are an emotional, angry guy or politically motivated. Churches are private property. They're not public protest zones. They're not political stages, if you will. And the law is extremely clear on this. According to established legal precedent, protesters who enter a church and disrupt services are not protected by the First Amendment. You would think Don Lemon would know this. That behavior constitutes trespassing and interference with the free exercise of religion. Sorry, liberals, but that's the way it works. And if that was not enough, these disruptions may violate federal law under the FACE Act. The Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act prohibits force, threats, or physical obstruction to interfere with anyone exercising religious freedom at a place of worship. Yes, churches are covered, but Lemon keeps going. Okay, in this clip, Lemon declares that storming a church is what the First Amendment is all about. Give it a watch.
So this is what the First Amendment is about the freedom to protest. I'm sure people here don't like it, but protests are not comfortable. And there are people here I'm looking at a young man who's in the corner. He's frightened, he's scared, he's crying. People are leaving church.
All right, that's flat out wrong. Protest is protected in public spaces like sidewalks. It is not protected inside private religious services. Entering a church to interrupt worship is disorderly conduct and trespassing, period. And somehow, this man spent years at CNN. Is he a lawyer? I don't think so. I know his father was a prominent attorney in a civil rights case, but I don't think he is. And he shows it here. So this is where it gets even worse. Lemon starts arguing with the pastor. He invokes the Constitution while standing on private property that he wasn't invited into. He is no longer reporting. He is advocating. He is no longer a journalist. He's an activist with a camera. Remember, guys, in the beginning, he said, I'm not involved with the protesters. I'm just here covering it. Not anymore.
Our church had gathered for worship, which we do every Sunday. And we were interrupted by this group of protesters. Yeah. We asked them to leave, and they obviously have not left.
See, that's important. He says, the pastor says, we ask them to leave because it's private property. That's an important legal distinction.
What do you think of this?
I mean,
See, Don Lemon doesn't even know that that is a major point in this entire thing.
this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship. So,
but there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
okay, but listen, we live in there's a constitution in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom.
Oh my goodness. There's a constitution, as if the pastor and the congregation need a lecture from a man who cannot distinguish between freedom of speech and freedom to trespass.
To assemble and protest.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope.
And then comes the most offensive part of it all. Watch this.
These cities, that's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me though.
We're here to worship Jesus.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why we're here. Okay. That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding?
We're about.
Did you hear this? Don't you think Jesus would be understanding? I mean, this is the left's favorite move. They hijack Christ to justify lawlessness. They act as if Jesus would endorse disrupting worship services to defend violent, criminal, illegal aliens being removed from the community. That argument is not just absurd, it's blasphemous. Seriously.
Love these folks.
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as a Christian?
No one is willing to talk.
Okay.
I have to take care of my church and my family, so I asked that you actually would also leave this building.
You don't want us to chronicle?
See, that's another important part of this. The pastor just asked him to leave.
Worship. You're here to worship.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here to.
Does anyone honestly believe that Don Lemon is a practicing Christian? Come on.
Well, we're here to worship. Yeah. We're here to worship. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. So here, Lemon is arguing with what appears to be a church elder. He accuses the man of not believing in facts. Don Lemon, can you believe it? While he himself is spreading lies. Give this a watch.
I agree with everybody's freedom to protest. These people have come into our house and they've interrupted our worship. This is a house of peace, and we try to proclaim that. And this stirs division and rancor. And in the end, it's not helpful. Ultimately, I believe they've lost. They've emptied a house of worship. Everybody's gone home. Their point has been proven worthless. And so, in the end, I think they lose. But more importantly, if I was to break into any of their houses uninvited, cause derision and upset according to their values, I would be kicked out ultimately. It's
Now, wait till you hear how Lemon responds to that.
not a good way. I feel violated. I feel interrupted. I feel angry.
May I ask you something?
Here we go.
When you were saying if you had showed up at their house, they're saying that people are showing up at houses where they're citizens
Yes.
or without due process
Yes.
and breaking and entering a house.
Yes.
One that we saw, I've been watching from New York.
Oh, he's been watching from New York. Yeah. Guys, this happens when citizens are harboring criminal fugitives. That is a crime. Harboring criminal illegal aliens is against the law. But Lemon reframes it to imply that citizens are being arrested for deportation, which makes no sense at all. I mean, where are they going to be deported to exactly? And what does any of this have to do with protesters trespassing inside a church after being asked to leave? Do you see what Lemon did there? He was arguing a point which had absolutely nothing to do with the chaos that's going on in the church right now. He's acting as if the church had something to do with police battering people's doors down. I mean, wow. So in the end, guys, Don Lemon badgers an elderly man who politely sticks around and answers his questions. In the end, the old man says things that everybody knows who's watching about Don Lemon. Give it a watch.
And
Yes.
there's no recourse.
Yeah.
There's no, you understand what I'm saying?
This is all part of a much larger dialogue, in my opinion. On one side,
Listen
are
to these
people who
people.
watched a previous administration bring 12 million people in over the course of 4 years.
Don doesn't care about that.
And many of them undocumented many of them criminals, etc. This is another administration's corrective. Now, whether you agree with the policies or procedures, I think I could actually be sympathetic to some of the things where there have been.
Yeah.
We may interject here.
So here's where Don actually goes full-blown political on the old guy.
Been out reporting on a lot of these, and they're not targeted. There are no warrants.
He's trying to convince a person he wants to interview that that person is wrong. It's not his job as a journalist.
Signed by a judge.
He's not a journalist.
Let me finish. And they're American citizens, many of them.
You hear him? Let me finish.
Most of the people that they detain don't have criminal convictions or criminal records.
I'm not going to get into the weeds. This is
But you should know that, though. Don't you think that's part?
You hear him? He's getting political with the man. He's no longer acting like it. Well, he never acted like a journalist in his entire career, but he claims he's only there to cover the story. He's trying to convince people on his side of the aisle.
Yes, and I could also show you many opposing sides where we're also picking up the very criminals that have put Americans in danger.
Yeah. Don Lemon doesn't care one iota about those people.
And I'm not saying it's pretty. I'm not saying it's not messy. I'm not saying it couldn't be better. I'm saying this is a part of a much larger dialogue in which one administration caused a great deal of chaos and havoc and danger for American citizens, and another is trying to correct that.
Do you believe that? Why honestly,
Okay.
Let me talk to you
Listen,
just on the
you're not
facts.
a journalist.
Yes, I am. I want to give you the
I
facts.
love it.
No.
He tells him, "You're not a journalist." And he goes, "Yes, I am." He has to argue back. "Yes, I am." Oh, man. So here's something that Don Lemon probably never even thought of. Give this a watch.
Minneapolis, Minnesota, a group of activists led by Don Lemon stormed a Baptist church by the name of Cities Church during their worship time. They were screaming and chanting, disrupting the singing and the preaching because they suspected an ICE officer may attend the church. This is a violation of what is known as the FACE Act. And not only do we condemn this act, but tonight, I want to demand that the Department of Justice investigate what took place in Minneapolis, apprehend those who broke the law, and arrest them accordingly.
Amen. And guess what? The DOJ has reportedly put him on notice for this incident. Don Lemon likely thinks he's protected under freedom of the press. He is not. You cannot violate the freedom of religion and claim press immunity. The First Amendment does not work that way. You do not get to trample on the rights of others and then hide behind a camera. This was never about reporting. It was about ideology overriding law, and Americans are waking up to it. The good news is that truth still matters. The Constitution still matters, and the rights of ordinary citizens are finally being defended again. That is a very bright upside, guys. All right, so tell me what you think about this in the comments below. I love hearing from you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.